Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Biopharma Web Day. My name is Patrick Buckner. I'm the worldwide lead for Biopharma Solutions, and we're excited that you're here. The past year has been extremely challenging for life science customers, to say the least, but we've been amazed at how innovative our customers were and continue to be. These innovations go far beyond what you see and hear in the news, and I'm excited to talk to you today about the sessions and introduce you to the customer presenters. As you might already know, AWS is uniquely focused on customers. So this symposium, like our other events, will be focused on customers and partners, what they were able to achieve, and how AWS was able to help them. So for the past 14 years, AWS has been the most comprehensive and broadly adopted cloud platform. And for the past 8 years, we've had a dedicated and diverse life sciences practice with team members with average tenure in the industry of over 17 years with previous titles such as Chief Digital Officer, Chief Medical Officer, Physician, Radiologist, and many more. Today, AWS is used by 9 of the top 10 global biopharma companies, and we work with them across all aspects of the value chain as well as many other customers. Everything we do here at AWS is underscored by compliance and security within life sciences. So we have over 100 HIPAA eligible services. We help customers with GXP, with HIPAA, high trust, GDPR, and other needs. And in the last Gartner Analyst review, AWS was found to have the most mature, enterprise-ready provider with the strongest track record of customer success and the most useful partner ecosystem. So whether you are a startup or a global biopharma company, we believe there's 3 maxims that will dictate your success in the life science industry. The first one is data liquidity, and this is about liberating data from traditional silos so you can get better insights. The second one is around increasing operational excellence and agility. This is mandatory to do across the whole value chain, and this is about building that capability to take learnings and quickly pivot within the marketplace. The third maxim is around personalization, and this is around designing custom experiences for that N of one. And that goes for whether you're designing more effective interactions with healthcare providers or delivering precision medicines to patients. We believe that customers' ability to react to these 3 maxims will dictate their future success in the new realities of the life science space. Let's dig into each one of these a little bit more. So the first one is data liquidity. We refer to this as your organization's lifeblood because it has the potential to flow not only between those functional areas, but also above those areas. And when customers are enabling that through data liquidity, they are finding new value and able to build new engagements with their patients. That's what we see some of the most innovative life science companies doing today. So if we zoom out from those functional silos where we might have started our career or where we might even still work today, we realize that this is really less about a sequential or linear value chain or optimizing compartmentalized processes and more about building new systems that meet the industry where it is today. You're probably familiar with the concept of a business flywheel. This is something that Jim Collins introduced in his book, Good to Great. Amazon simply purposed this concept, and that is exactly what we see some of the more innovative life science companies doing today. And when companies can actually liquidate their data and create this data flywheel, it makes things possible that previously seemed impossible. I was thinking back to when we first did this symposium in 2019. There were really 3 key trends that we talked about that were affecting our life science customers. The first trend was around this pivot from blockbuster drugs to precision medicine. The second major trend was around this move towards evidence-based medicine or real-world evidence. And then the third trend was around the rise of mobile devices and sensors to help ensure patient outcomes. So COVID-19 was a moment of truth for every life science customer, and how progressed they were in their digital transformation really affected how they were able to respond. So let's take the example of Moderna. So when Moderna started their COVID-19 vaccine research, they never actually got a physical sample of the virus itself. They simply downloaded the viral genome and started their R&D efforts. And from the time that they downloaded that viral genome to when they had their successful trial candidate was only 42 days, which is an amazing thing that seemed previously impossible. The second maxim is around operational excellence, and agility. And this really pertains to every aspect of the value chain as we know it. So let's talk about a couple of examples. First example is in research and development. AstraZeneca needs the ability to analyze kidney tissue samples from their lab animals. They do this to make sure that their diabetic drugs are safe and effective. And they do this traditionally with specialized people that are hard to find. And it's also painstaking and often tedious work. It can take up to 3 weeks to do this work. They use Amazon machine learning to actually do that now in half the time. And the machine learning model they built had a 95% accuracy in detecting diabetic injury in tissue samples. The second example is from Amgen in the adverse event area. So Amgen wanted to proactively identify drug molecules that would cause safety events. Their challenge was this information was spread out across different literature sources and medical journals and other data sources. So Amgen used Amazon Transcribe Medical and Amazon Comprehend Medical to find those safety events and feed them into a machine learning model where they could quickly generate the regulatory reporting. The machine learning models that they built with our AWS Machine Learning Solutions Lab achieved 98% accuracy. And then finally, I want to talk about our featured partner, Azon. So think of Azon as your compliant AI platform for smart manufacturing capabilities. They help customers quickly use AI/ML to address important manufacturing challenges and then spread that capability out across multiple sites and facilities. Azon was working with a top 5 biopharma company who wanted to maximize profitability for one of their products that had a very high cost of goods sold, or COGS. The target was a key bioprocessing step that already had 97% yield, but they were able to use the Azon platform to find some root causes and increase that yield by over 1%. And along the way, they were able to find $20 to $60 million in cost savings. That's just for one production line in one site. And the final maxim for life science customers today is personalization. And we talk about it's not just for healthcare, it's incredibly important for the life science space. There's really 2 goals of personalization in life sciences. The first one is to deliver therapeutics that enable outcomes. And then the second one is creating tools and solutions that help improve patient care. And we've got examples for both of those for you. The first one is Lyell. Lyell is in the CAR T space, dealing with cancer, specifically solid tumors. Lyell needs the ability to quickly test their cell therapy constructs to find out which ones are most effective. They were doing these at the pace of about 1 simulation every 4 weeks. And then after using Amazon EC2, they're now able to do 30 simulations in 10 hours. Additionally, using Amazon EMR and data lakes built on top of AWS, they're now able to analyze petabytes of information. The other example is Biogen. So Biogen built a cognitive brain test on top of AWS that patients can take online who have been recently diagnosed with memory loss. They get personalized results from this test, include recommendations as well as resources that are specific to them and their current state that are used by both the caregiver and the patient themselves. So these are just a couple of examples of personalization. There's many more. So now that we've dug into some of the maxims that we see that are most important in life science, let's pivot over now to the actual customer sessions and presentations. So the first track I want to cover is the Biopharma Business Track. And you're really going to hear 3 different themes in this track. The first one is around compliant and scalable manufacturing. The second theme is around this move from the blockbuster drugs to precision medicines. And then the third theme is going to be around the importance of enterprise available data and how that can enable real-time decisions. So we're going to hear from Roland Smith from Moderna. Roland is going to talk about how their journey started on March 4th, 2020, when they got approval from the FDA to conduct clinical trials. By May 30th of 2021, they had shipped over 100 million COVID-19 vaccines. We're going to hear from Casper Larson from Novo Nordisk. Casper is going to talk about how they were able to pivot from a graveyard of POCs to a scalable, repeatable initiative, all predicated on the way that they collected and managed their enterprise manufacturing data on top of AWS. We're going to hear from Lilly as well, Kent Sapunchik and Chris Blessing, and they're going to talk about their enterprise data project and how they were able to increase their ROI by over 50% in the first year of that project. And along the way, they were able to find cost savings as well as new top-line opportunities. We're going to hear from Regeneron, and Jeff Reed is going to talk about the problem of 90% of experimental medicines right now in the industry fail, and how Regeneron is using genomics to deliver precision medicines to patients and increase that success rate. Dr. Bertrina Kamya from Insilico is going to talk to us about the dropping ROI in drug discovery within the entire life science industry, and how Insilico is helping address that by using AWS machine learning to find successful drug candidates that have a much higher chance of making it through the process. Let's talk next about our biopharma technical track. And in this track, you're going to hear, again, three distinct themes. The first one is bringing AI and ML into the research and development area. The second one is around increasing drug manufacturing yields. And the third one is around collecting multi-omic data and gaining new insights. So Christina Liu from Roche is going to talk to us about how they're making every data point count. They're doing that by using past trial information and using that to inform their future trial designs. Adam Sullivan from LabCorp is going to talk about how LabCorp is looking to proactively recommend tests to patients so disease can be caught early when it's more treatable. He's also going to talk about how, as of last month, they had trained over 2,000 models on Amazon SageMaker. According to Blackthorn Therapeutics, over 20% of global deaths are related to brain disease. However, it's very challenging to conduct biopsies and to then correlate all of that data. Oscar Rodriguez from Blackthorn is going to talk about how they're addressing that problem. We're also going to hear from Dr. Tony Manizano from Azon. Tony is going to talk about how Azon helps address the problem that life science customers, data scientists often spend over 80% of their time just cleaning data. We're going to hear from Dr. Nolan Nichols. Nolan's going to talk about how Maze uses the AWS Biotech Blueprint to quickly go from a conceptual infrastructure to a fully deployed infrastructure in just a matter of hours. And they're doing this in order to answer a question from the genomic point of view of why certain customers or certain patients get more sick than others. And finally, Dr. Christoph Gorgula is from Harvard Medical School. He's going to talk about how Harvard is breaking records by scaling up over 1 million virtual CPUs to screen billions of compounds. This is all in an effort to democratize ultra-large virtual screenings. So I hope that you can see we have a very diverse set of customer presentations to share with you that go all the way from startups to global biopharma leaders. And we're covering everything from novel drug discovery all the way to manufacturing and delivering drugs to patients. We're excited about these sessions. We hope you'll find them useful, and we can't wait to see what innovations next year you might be able to talk about that you built on top of AWS.